The house next door looks the same as it did 10 years ago. Same curtains, same car in the driveway. But the people inside face different choices today. Their work hours changed. Their grocery list changed. Their savings, if they have any, look different. What if I told you the middle class is quietly getting smaller? Not because of a single headline, but because of tiny changes that add up. This video will explain what is happening, why it matters, and what you can do to protect yourself and the people you love. Stay with me through this. The truth is quieter than a crisis, but it is real. Hello and welcome. I'll speak plainly. No jargon, no confusing graphs, just clear, practical explanation. We will cover what the middle class used to look like, the signs that it is shrinking today, the forces driving that shift, real-life examples you can relate to, the consequences, and practical steps you can take immediately. If you feel like you're working harder but getting less, you're not alone. This video is for you. Let's begin. Think of middle class as a lifestyle promise, more than a salary number. It used to mean stable employment, reliable benefits like healthcare or a pension, owning a modest home without constant fear, and saving a little for emergencies and retirement. Families could expect to cover unexpected bills without going bankrupt. A college education was tough, but possible without crippling debt for many. Vacations, small luxuries, and the ability to plan for the future were normal parts of life. That promise depended on a balance, wages growing at least as fast as living costs, decent jobs in the community, and safety nets that prevented a single problem from becoming a catastrophe. When those pillars weaken, the promise fades. The change is quiet because it occurs in everyday choices. Watch for these signs in your own neighborhood and life. 1. Employment shifts. Jobs once full-time and steady now show up as part-time, contract, or gig roles. Employers advertise flexibility. Workers experience unpredictability. Schedules change week to week, and employers do not provide health care or paid leave as regularly as before. 2. Wage pressure. Even when paychecks rise slightly, the value of that pay falls because housing, utilities, healthcare, and childcare grow faster. People notice pay rises, but they don't feel richer. 3. Housing stress. Rent and housing costs often consume a large share of income. A family that used to afford a 3-bedroom home now spends much more, leaving less room for savings. 4. Debt normalization. Taking loans to pay for education, medical bills, or daily life becomes common. Credit cards and high-interest debt replace savings for many households. 5. Thin emergency funds. Many families have little to fall back on. A broken furnace, a car repair, or a medical bill can force people into debt or payment plans that last months or years. 6. Retirement uncertainty. Defined benefit pensions are rarer. Many workers now rely on defined contribution plans where the market determines retirement outcomes. Not everyone can make up for bad market years. 7. Delayed life milestones. People postpone having children, buying a home, or retiring because finances are uncertain. These personal delays add up across generations. These signs are not dramatic individually, but together they represent a shift in what daily life feels like for millions. Let's examine the forces that combine to erode the middle class. None are single causes, they interact. Technology and automation. Machines and software take over routine tasks. Manufacturing, data entry, and some service sector roles change or disappear. That reduces the number of middling wage jobs that once supported families. Globalization, corporations can move production or certain services to lower-cost countries. That lowers costs for consumers, but also reduces local employment in certain sectors. Jobs that sustain towns and cities are shifted or eliminated. Wage stagnation. Over decades, many wages have not increased fast enough when adjusted for inflation. As costs rise for essentials, the purchasing power of many workers falls. Housing and urbanization. Cities attract jobs and talent, and with them, rising housing prices. When housing costs outpace income, families trade stability for location. They live farther from work or pay much more for smaller spaces. Healthcare and education costs. In many places, healthcare and education costs have climbed faster than incomes. Families spend larger portions of their budgets on these essentials, reducing savings and increasing vulnerability. Financialization, a growing share of economic returns can go to financial markets and capital owners rather than direct wages. Profits increase, but wages lag. That widens inequality and weakens the wage-driven middle class. The rise of insecure work, gig economy jobs and contract work offer flexibility but limited stability. They often lack benefits such as paid leave, employer retirement contributions, and consistent hours. Public policy and safety nets. Policy choices matter, where childcare, healthcare, unemployment, insurance, and retraining programs are limited. Families bear more risk individually. That shifts the burden from shared systems to individual households. All these forces interact like gears in a machine. Change one gear and the motion shifts throughout the whole mechanism. Let's make this personal. Here are 3 composite stories that represent many real households. Family A, to parents, to kids. 10 years ago, one income covered mortgage and bills while the other worked part-time for spending money. Today, the main income no longer stretches. The second parent picks up gig shifts, driving or delivering food. Work hours are unpredictable. Healthcare costs rose. Their emergency savings was small and now nearly gone. Family B, 2 college graduates working in the city. They earn enough to live, but not to save meaningfully. Student loans take a fixed share of income. Rent consumes half of their pay. They delay marriage and children, choosing to wait until finances stabilize, a day that keeps moving further away. Family C, a small business owner with a neighborhood store. Competition from larger online platforms and a new shopping center reduces foot traffic. Rent increases, supply costs fluctuate, and local demand softens. The business survives, but profit dwindles and retirement plans shrink. These are not unique tragedies. They are repeated across neighborhoods, towns, and cities. The stories show how ordinary choices and small shifts lead to long-term pressure. Why isn't this a constant headline? Because slow, systemic change lacks drama. News cycles chase sharp events, bank failures, layoffs, major protests. The slow shrinking of a class happens in apartments, in kitchen conversations, in postponed phone calls about retirement. Also, many affected people feel this is their personal failure, not a system problem. That individualization makes collective action harder. Problems that are diffuse rarely galvanize quick political response, even when the aggregate effect is large. A shrinking middle class changes many aspects of life. Economically, consumer demand softens. Middle-class households drive much of everyday spending on housing, food, transport, and services. If they tighten budgets, businesses see slower growth. Socially, communities lose the anchor of stable families. Local institutions, schools, shops, volunteer organizations face strain. Political trust may erode when citizens feel the system no longer serves them. Individually, the stress of financial precarity increases mental health burdens and lowers life satisfaction. People delay major milestones and plan more conservatively, which affects long-term growth and innovation. These consequences compound over time, changing how societies function. This is the core of the video. Practical, realistic moves you can implement now. These steps are defensive but powerful. Build flexible skills. Focus on learning that translates across roles. Communication, critical thinking, project management, and digital basics. These skills increase your options. Use short online courses, local workshops, or community college classes. Prioritize skills that are in demand in your area or that are remote-friendly. Create multiple income streams, diversify modestly. A freelance side project, a small online store, tutoring, or part-time consulting can reduce reliance on one paycheck. Start small and keep it manageable. Cut high-cost debt first. Pay down credit cards and payday loans aggressively. High-interest debt compounds quickly and eats the most discretionary income. Build an emergency fund. Aim for a small starter fund. Even $500 to $1,000 can prevent a single shock from creating long-term problems. Contribute regularly, even if amounts are small, and automate savings where possible. Reevaluate housing costs. Housing is often the biggest strain. Consider options such as refinancing, moving to a lower-cost area, renting a room, or renegotiating leases. Short-term sacrifices in location can buy long-term stability. Use tax-advantaged accounts and employer programs. If your employer offers retirement contributions or matching, take advantage even with small amounts. Use any flexible spending accounts for healthcare and dependent care if available. Network locally and digitally. Community support matters. Share childcare, carpool, trade services, and exchange skills. Networks often lead to job leads and resource sharing. Plan for retirement in small, steady steps. Even modest, consistent contributions compound over time. Don't wait for perfect conditions to start saving. Maintain health proactively. Preventive healthcare, healthy habits. And understanding insurance coverage reduce the chance of catastrophic medical bills. Advocate for change. Vote. Contact leaders. Support policies that expand access to education, healthcare, childcare, and retraining. Individual resilience is important, but system-level changes multiply impact. These steps aren't quick fixes. They reduce vulnerability and create optionality. Over time, small, disciplined actions build a stronger buffer against shocks. Here is a concrete plan for building flexible skills over 3 months. Month 1 Foundation. Choose one core skill relevant to your goals. Options: basic spreadsheet skills, clear written communication, customer service, or a coding basics intro. Spend 30 minutes a day on structured learning, short videos, practice problems, or reading. Join an online community or forum to ask questions. Month to practice. Apply the skill in small projects. Offer a free service to a neighbor or local business for 2 hours a week. Build a small portfolio, a simple spreadsheet you created, a short article, or a mini website. Keep practicing and ask for feedback. Month 3, monetize and scale. Start offering the service for pay at a low rate. Use local groups, social media, or freelance sites. Keep improving. As income grows, reinvest in a paid course or certification that boosts credibility. Why this works: you move from learning to doing to earning. Small, consistent steps create confidence and marketable experience. Use 3 buckets: essentials, savings and debt, and flex. Essentials: housing, food, transport, basic health care, minimum debt payments. Allocate 60% of take-home pay as a starting point. Adjust to local costs. Savings and debt: emergency savings, retirement contributions, extra debt payments. Aim for 20% total here if possible. Even 5 to 10% helps at first. Flex: discretionary spending, entertainment, short-term wants. Keep this around 20%. But be realistic. If essentials are higher, shrink flex and slowly rebuild. A simple monthly checklist. List all recurring expenses. Place them into buckets. Automate transfers to savings when payday hits, and review subscriptions each month. Cancel unused services. Track spending for 30 days to reveal leakages. If you face heavy debt, prioritize high-interest debt while keeping a tiny emergency fund to avoid new borrowing. Consider debt snowball smallest debt first for momentum, or avalanche highest interest first for efficiency. If unpredictable scheduling or lack of benefits is a problem, consider a respectful conversation with your manager. Here is a simple script you can adapt. Start: I enjoy my work and want to be more reliable for the team. Lately, my schedule has been unpredictable, and it makes planning difficult. Can we discuss options to make my hours more stable? Offer solutions. I could commit to consistent core hours, if that helps. Or, I can cross-train so another team member can cover certain tasks. If pay is an issue, I'd like to discuss responsibilities and corresponding compensation. What steps would you recommend for growth? Keep it collaborative and specific. Managers often respond to clear, solution-focused requests. If you are nervous, practice with a friend or write the points down. Start small, pick a realistic weekly amount, even $10 or local equivalent. Put it in a separate savings account. If possible, automate this transfer the day after payday. Make savings automatic. Use app features or bank rules to round up purchases and save the difference. Treat the fund as untouchable except for true emergencies. Set milestones: $500, $1,500, $3,000. Celebrate each one. Use the fund to avoid high-interest borrowing when life surprises you. If you get a windfall, a tax refund, a small bonus, place part of it into the fund first before discretionary spending. Communities reduce costs and create safety nets. Ideas: create a local skill swap, a childcare coop where parents rotate watching small groups, a carpool group, a neighborhood tool library. Start small. Post in a local group offering one service in exchange for another. Build trust slowly and keep agreements simple and written when needed. Q. Can a side gig really make a difference? A. Yes. If it is structured, the goal is steady extra cash, not sudden riches. A consistent $200 a month can cover emergency bills and reduce stress. Q. Should I buy a home now? A. That depends. If mortgage payments leave you with little buffer, consider waiting and saving for a larger down payment or looking at lower cost areas. Stability matters more than ownership for some people. Q. How do I choose which skill to learn? A. Start with what is adjacent to your current work or what local employers demand. Ask peers, check job listings, and pick something you can practice quickly. Q. What if I can't afford any training? A. Many free resources exist: library books, community colleges with low fees, open online courses, and community workshops. Start with free, then invest once you see results. Pick one immediate action from this list and do it this week. Save $10 automatically after payday. List all subscriptions and cancel one you don't use. Spend 3 hours on a beginner course for a practical skill. Ask your manager for a 15-minute meeting about scheduling. Join one local group for swaps or shared childcare. Do one thing. Small steps compound. This video explained why the middle class is under pressure and what you can do in practical terms. The problem is real, but not hopeless. Build skills, protect your finances, and lean on community. Policies and leaders must act too, but every small step you take strengthens your position. If you want a downloadable checklist, budgeting spreadsheet, and a 3-month learning plan, tell me which format you prefer. I'll prepare it next. Thank you for watching. Share this with someone who needs it. Take one action today. Q. Is this happening everywhere? A. The pressure on the middle class shows up differently by region and country. Some places have stronger safety nets or higher wages. The key is recognizing local patterns and acting accordingly. Q. Will automation take all jobs? A. Not all jobs. Tasks change. Focus on what machines can't easily replace: human judgment, empathy, complex communication, and creative problem solving. Those areas retain value. Q. Is the government responsible? A. Governments play a role through policy and investment. But expecting policy alone to solve personal vulnerability misses the practical steps individuals can take now. Both are needed. Q. How long will recovery take? A. Rebuilding stable pathways takes years, but small household changes start immediately, and community action can speed the process locally. Day 1. Track all spending for 1 day. Note small regular payments. Day 2. List your top 3 costs and choose one to reduce. Day 3. Set up an automatic weekly transfer of a small amount to savings. Day 4. Spend 1 hour exploring a free online course in a useful skill. Day 5. Contact one local parent or neighbor to discuss a shared childcare idea. Day 6. Review subscription services and cancel at least one. Day 7. Plan a 30-minute meeting with your partner or friend to review household goals. This micro-plan creates momentum. Repeat weekly and scale small wins into larger habits. Thanks for listening. If you want the exact downloadable assets checklist, budget sheet, conversation scripts, and a 3-month learning calendar, tell me which file type you prefer: Google Sheet, Excel, PDF, or a simple printable checklist. I'll prepare it. You don't have to solve everything today. Pick one small action and commit to it for a week. Share your progress in the comments. Real people helping each other creates real change. Subscribe for more practical, honest videos about money and daily life. If you found this useful, share it with a friend and bookmark this video. Leave one action you'll take in the comments. I read them. For resource requests, say send resources and I will prepare them. Now,